Coachella, I am once again asking you to open this pit up. Folks, we're making a song today. I have no idea how it's going to go. I feel like Clive Owen at the end of Children of Men, where he just sails off into the unknown with the future of humanity in tow. Only the difference is, instead of the future of humanity, it's my sense of pride. Yeah, let's be honest. Making music, it's very embarrassing in the best of times. Yeah, it doesn't help that we live in a culture where we assign scores to music like there's some sort of objective barometer of quality when there isn't. And a lot of times what you see is what you get. I'm a guy with a funny hat and some instruments and a bedroom and an iPhone 16 that is wobbling really sketchily in the wind. And I really hope it doesn't come crashing to the ground because it's probably like $3,000 now with these tariffs. Yeah, I have no idea what I'm doing. So I'm not going to be writing an Anthony Fantano 10 today. Maybe one day. But no, I mean, we live like these heuristics are real. The Anthony Fantano 10, the Pitchfork hot new music section, all that kind of stuff. And if you're someone like me who kind of treats music as their religion, bad music is something akin to blasphemy. It's like misquoting scripture or twisting a commandment into something sinful. On that note, if you've never heard of the Wicked Bible, I suggest you look that up. That's a very funny story. Basically, back when the King James Bible was being printed, there was a first draft that was released where the word not was missing from the commandment, thou shalt not commit adultery. And every swinger in 17th century England rejoiced. Do you think they had pineapples back then? Probably not. That seems more like a Spanish Empire, Portuguese Empire sort of thing at that time. The British probably had to settle for like an upside down elderberry as their sigil. But honestly, that's a good way of reframing it. You know, one man's blasphemy is another's blessing. You know, really any subjective judgment at the end of the day is an invention of the mind. And we're really good at believing in those things wholeheartedly. You know, it's easy to forget that when you look at the earth from outer space, there's no borders there. So whatever we end up with today, it's neither good nor bad. It kind of just is. Whether you enjoy it, that's for you to decide. You know, whether you like my song or not, I hope you at least enjoy the video. And on that note, my name is Luke Exuberance, the public universal bandmate, which means if you're watching this, you're in my band now. Whoa. If you're enjoying the video so far, I'd really appreciate if you left a like, subscribed, really show your commitment to the band, you know. And if you are new here, you couldn't have picked a better time. This is our first musical rehearsal. This is completely new for everyone involved, especially me. A band member by the name The Funeral Party asked me recently if anyone in the band can contribute to this project and the process therein. And the answer is unequivocally yes. I just don't know how that looks yet. Part of me is like, yeah, just send whatever stem you want to appear in a song to exuberancemail@gmail.com. And another part of me is like, that's really sketchy though. That's like opening myself up to someone just sending me a Trojan virus. Especially considering my antivirus situation right now would best be classified as raw dogging the internet. So if anyone has any good ideas for a reliable alternative, I would happily entertain those down below. But yeah, honestly, this conundrum is exactly why it's just me today with my guitars writing the frickin' tune, right? So without further ado, let's get inside and let's get cooking. All right, we're back inside. I had to take the hat off because it's uncouth to wear those indoors. You know, even though I iterated that it's just me today, I actually do have to thank a bandmate by the name of Alien2545 for kind of setting our course in the creation of today's song. Alien asks if we can hear the Dan Electro. I think that's a fantastic idea. I have a riff on there that I've wanted to turn into a full arrangement for a long time now. I think this is the opportunity to bring that into fruition. And it sounds a little something like this. So yeah, that's the riff. I like how adventurous it sounds. For you music theory heads out there, that's because I wrote it in D Dorian, which is kind of like D minor, but maybe a little more wistful. It doesn't have that really edgy minor sixth, which I'll play right here. Yeah, I could have wrote it in D minor. It would have sounded something like this. So not a whole lot different, but maybe a little more intense, a little more edgy. Let's put a pin in that. I think we could actually probably use that as a nice little key change at a critical point later in the song. That one's also a little harder to play, which if you're curious about why I play guitar the way I do, there's a video on that that's coming. But, I can't waste all my clickbait right now. Come on. I'm one man. I have to ration it out, sort of. But suffice it to say, I'm a disabled guitarist in the vein of Tony Iommi, Django Reinhardt. I'm sure there's others. Me. But yeah, that's the riff. So I'll come back to you when I've got something recorded. Damn, it got gloomy in here. There's a thunderstorm happening right now. I don't know if you can hear that, but we're in Reaper. I got the beginnings of a song sketched out. It's so funny. I started this video thinking, yeah, I'm going to work harder than I've ever worked before, and we're going to have a song by the end of the day. Robert Pollard writes 20 songs a day. Why can't I do it? And, well, here we are. We've got the beginnings of a song. My goal with this video is to finish a song and get that uploaded and have that come out while I'm out of town next week. But I think we might have to postpone that in light of reality. But no, here we are. I've got, like I said, the basic structure of the song sketched out. I'll point out some of the cool stuff as we go along, but before that, I'll answer some of the nerdy tech questions. Everything you're hearing here was recorded through my Fender Mustang amp into my Shure SM57. The settings on the amp are all dimed. If I need to change my volume or something, I just do that on my guitar. I use a clean tone, and then I ran my guitar through the Flamma SO5 modulation pedal. I was using the flanger setting, which I really like with the 12-string because it kind of gives you that Wayne Hussey, Sisters of Mercy guitar tone. It's very cool. So yeah, like I said, here we go. This is just the intro right here. That main riff we made earlier. And then it goes into this verse that I kind of just cobbled together. Just some basic chords in D minor. It does the riff again. And then we go into the second verse, which is a lot more uplifting. I did make sure to kind of agree this one with the Dorian modality we were using. So that's that. And then something kind of cool I tacked on to the end here. I did a more major key change. Something kind of cool I tacked on to the end here. I did a more monumental key change that comes out of this second verse that I composed. Slowed way down. Yeah, I think it's kind of interesting to sort of play with the dynamics with regard to timing and tempo, especially in this age of, not just AI music, but really over quantized music. I don't want to sound like Rick Beato here, but yeah, in light of these developments, I could easily imagine a future where it's cool to have bad rhythm again. But yeah, it's getting late here, so I'm going to go eat some dinner and then think about maybe arranging this for other instruments, and maybe adding drums even. So I'll talk to you then. All right, I ate dinner. The storm has passed. It's getting kind of late though, so the last thing I want to do today is really lock in this arrangement. So I kind of view songs as a puzzle, especially so if you're just one person like me. It's not like I can just tell my bassist to play a groove while I improvise over it until something coterminous with everything else going on happens. You actually have to strategize and work obliquely. Dare I say, you need the oblique strategies. No, not really. Those are really useful. But what I'm about to describe is completely different. It's also completely free. But the gist of it is basically, whenever I have a chord progression that I know works, in this case, the riff from earlier and the verses I wrote after that, I write down every single note of every single chord in sequence and then randomly assign those notes to different instruments. In this case, I'm just color coding a Word doc with each color corresponding to a different instrument. This technique has the effect of giving every instrument a unique sense of direction while also contributing to a robust harmony. Very cool. It's also pretty convenient that the most fundamental chord is a triad, which has 3 notes, and in a standard rock band, there's about 3 pitched instruments, so pretty nice, pretty nice. Now, because our song here rides the line between D Dorian and D Aeolian, that is to say D minor, here's what the chords and arrangement look like transposed into D minor. Okay, it's the next day. I was going to record this part outside, but it's even more windy today, and I know better than to tempt fate with my tariff-inflated iPhone. You know, I text the homies on this thing too. It's not like it's just my YouTube camera, okay? It's a valuable piece of equipment. Anyway, I used that little arrangement plan that we came up with to record some rhythm guitar and some bass. I recorded the bass line on my Yamaha broad bass, very nice instrument, and I just recorded that thing directly into my Euphoria UM2 by Behringer. That's right, I'm not even a guy who has a Scarlett Focusrite. Honestly, despite only having one headphone jack, one input jack, and one XLR jack, this thing's kind of a beast, so it gets the job done. I love my Behringer. I've had this thing for like 7 years now. On top of all that, I threw some rudimentary drums together, just using some samples from the Casio keyboard that I have. You know, this is definitely one of those things I'm going to have to go in and sort of redo later. There's a few parts where a hypothetical drummer playing this part would have to have 3 arms. Yeah, don't ask me why. I just prefer that all of the things I make be easily recreated by a human. But yeah, because I'm leaving on a trip tomorrow, I wanted to make sure I don't forget any of the new parts that I just recorded. So I actually wrote tabs for all of this stuff, all the stuff you're about to hear. So if for whatever reason you want to learn how to play this crummy home demo, be my guest. But yeah, altogether it sounds like this. So that's that. I'm honestly pretty proud of how it's coming along so far. Obviously, there's still a long way to go. I'm going to have to go in and re-record some stuff. You know, the first time you lay down a track after having written it, you know, it's kind of wonky, but now that I've rehearsed all the parts a few times, I can feel the power coursing through my fingers. So yeah, my goal for next time is to re-record all the stuff that needs to be re-recorded, double track what needs to be double tracked, and all in all, just add another layer of polish to what we have so far. Oh yeah, we also have to record vocals. Oh, that's going to be a treat. I cannot wait to show you my vocal booth. It's functional. Anyway, I know I was joking about Robert Pollard earlier and the 8 million Guided by Voices songs he's written and the 4 million solo songs he's written. But I really did start this channel with the intention of releasing a video and a song every week, no matter how bad it is. Maybe that's overly ambitious, especially if I find gainful employment like I should. You know, I'm not trying to set some expectation that I cannot meet, but I am hopeful that one day I will be releasing a 20-minute banger of a video every week on this channel with a song to go with it. On that note, a bandmate by the name Steve Anderson left a comment on the last video offering some band names for our collective band, including The Exuberance, The Exuberant Bunch, and just plain old Exuberant. Anyway, it got me thinking. I always thought it was cute how Adam Ant's first band was called Adam and the Ants. So I thought it'd be a fun case of history not necessarily repeating itself, but certainly rhyming if we were to release songs as Luke and the Exuberant. I know, I'm an egomaniac. This is just what being in a band does to people, okay? Sorry. But yes, Luke and the Exuberant with no S. I'm kind of envisioning exuberant as an adjective that describes an implied collective rather than a collective noun in and of itself. Sorry to get grammatical like that, but I can't help it sometimes. But yeah, let me know what you think about that down below. I've been Luke Exuberance. If you liked the video, leave a like down below. If you aren't already, please consider subscribing. And I've got a trip to pack for, so with that, I'll see you next time. Peace.